Hello and welcome to the next session of this course that you are learning how to master the star trading method, which has made countless people successful traders in the safe way, in the profitable way, all over the world. So today we're going to be looking at strategy mastery. So when we approach the markets, we have to have a strategy in place. When we trade, we're not trading off of gut feeling. We are not trading off emotion. We are trading off of the data that we have created that tells us how well our strategy performs and if it's worth us trading. And that really is the core skill set that we teach at Star Trading, is how it is that you can develop strategies, how it is you can test strategies, and how it is that you can adapt strategies and optimize strategies over time to make sure they continue to work even when market conditions are changing. It's very, very important we teach you how to do that. Now, of course, we have our strategies which we've tested for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. One of our strategies we've even tested for over 20 years to make sure that it works and it continues to work. However, previous results are no guarantee of future results, which again is why we need to teach you and show you how to apply these strategies correctly right now, but also how to evolve them over time as market conditions change. That's something which is often missed by traders. It may work now, but is it going to continue to work in the future? If it's changing over time, what is changing over time? You need to track the right pieces of data to understand that. And this is why the Star Trading method was featured in Bloomberg, Business Insider, Yahoo Finance, because it is so data driven. It's not about emotion, and it's a system that you can follow. If you follow the same system, you too can be successful as a trader. You just have to have the system in place. So yep, today we're going to be looking at strategies, or what I like to call them is profit-making machines, because it is a machine. Once you've got it working, it continues to work, continues to work, continues to work. So on the agenda today, what we're going to be looking at today is what even are strategies? When I talk about strategies, what do I really mean? How do we know that they work, and how can we keep them working as well? So how do we then apply them into the live market, and how can we test them too? What patterns do you need to be aware of? Because patterns are what makes profit, and there's a distinction between patterns and strategies. We use patterns to identify opportunities. We then use strategies to take hold of that opportunity that we see in the market. And then, like I said, we need to learn how to test them. Vitally important we master that skill, because that is the skill that is going to keep you trading successfully and profitably for the long run, for your entire trading career. And that is really what I'm trying to achieve here at Star Trading, is to make you an independent trader, an empowered trader that doesn't need to rely on me, doesn't need to rely on our mentors, doesn't even need to rely on the community in order to trade successfully. Now, you may want to stay part of the community even when you've mastered trading. Lots of our students do, because they like that interaction with other traders. They like the way the community is so supportive, and we hold each other's hands when we're having difficulty, we celebrate each other's wins, and we make sure that people are doing well. We check in with people, and we have those internal trading conversations which most people don't get to have outside of that community. And I want to just remind you that the purpose of being a trader is to be recession-proof. You want to be a bi-directional trader. If you're not a bi-directional trader, then you are limiting your ability to make profit. You're literally slashing your ability to make profit in half, and we want to double your opportunity to make money. So we need you to become bi-directional traders, which means you have to trade short and long as markets are going down and as they're going up as well. And that will make you recession-proof. That will make you empowered with a skill set that generates income regardless of what is happening economically or politically in any country or in any part of the world. I was going to say any world then, but we've only got one world as far as I'm aware, unless you're into multiverse theory, and then there's a different question there. But in any world, in any multiverse, you can be recession-proof if you understand how to trade financial markets, like the Star Trading method will enable you to do. So just a quick reminder again, it's the Star Trading method. Point 1 is chart mastery. Point 2 is risk mastery or money mastery, which we looked at in the previous session. Number 3 is today's one, which is where we're looking at strategy mastery, how you can master the strategies. Then we've got mindset mastery, and we have got optimization mastery, which is once we've already got you trading live and successfully, how do we optimize that? How do we lower the time commitment you have to put in? How do we lower the risk that you have on the table, but increase your returns and increase your profits? So that's what we're going to be looking at when we get to that section. So That is the star trading method, which we're focusing on over this course. Now, chart mastery, again, we talked about this. It's where are we looking for support and resistance levels in the market? Where are we looking for the opportunities? Where is the chart telling us we need to buy? And I'm putting this in here because remember, the chart is what gives us the information. The chart is where we are looking for patterns in the market in order for us to be able to use these patterns as strategies in a successful way. And some of the components you hear in the tools that we use, we wouldn't use all of them for one strategy, but we also wouldn't use one as an entire strategy. A strategy is a collection of all of these different resources. Remember what I said about a crime scene? A strategy is a collection of all of these different pieces of evidence which tell us, which is the market telling us what is going on and what is more likely to happen next. And that is where we trade. So we trade technically in the unknown, we trade in the future and what is most likely going to happen based upon a collection of these pieces of evidence. But you would never make a case with just one piece of evidence. So these tools that you can see, you wouldn't want to use just one of them as an entire strategy. There are strategies you can find out there online which do recommend using just one of them. For example, there's one which uses moving averages and the crossover of the moving averages. For me, the move has already happened in the market when that cross happens, and also it's just one piece of evidence. It's not a strong case. So you want to make sure you have a strong case, a strong reason to enter the market, and that's why we need to use multiple pieces of these analysis tools, multiple pieces of evidence to make it worth our time entering into the market. So how do we know that these strategies that we teach as part of the Star Trading mentorship, how do we know that they work? Well, first of all, our students are trading them successfully. They have been extensively tested. Our strategies are tested for a minimum of 3 years. Now, don't worry, when I say they're tested for 3 years and I say you need to test them for at least 3 years as well, I am not talking about you have to wait 3 years from this point until you start trading live. No, it is called back testing. So testing backwards. So we go into the past, into the history of a market, and then we move that chart forward, pretending we don't know what happens in the future. And then we can see if we had this criteria, this criteria, this criteria, which makes our what? Makes our strategy. If we had those components and we had have entered the market in accordance with our strategy, how would it have performed over the past 3 years? So when I say they've been tested for at least 3 years, that's what I mean. Obviously, I've been trading now for over 9 years, which means I've been trading all of these strategies that I teach you for that time period, and let's just say they've done me very, very well. So that is how we know they work. We always test them. We make sure that you test them as well. And that process of you testing it allows you to develop your understanding of how the markets move, get a feel for the market, gives you an ability to actually spot those tradable opportunities as well. And that's what we're training you to do. And when we mentor people, what we're really mentoring you in is the ability to apply the knowledge correctly into the market. So that's what we do. Now, we also make sure that they work across market conditions, multiple market conditions. The market doesn't ever move in just one direction. It moves in 3 different directions, which I'll come on to in a second. And all of these strategies follow correct risk principles. So if you remember the previous session where we were looking at money management and protecting your risk and making sure you're protected, all of these strategies use the correct risk and allow us to generate that return, very, very healthy return of between 5% and 10% per month once you know what you're doing and you've got that skill set up to the level that it needs to be to achieve that. So these are some of our students who are trading these. This is literally just a very small handful that could fit onto the page. We've got people on here who've traded their way out of debt. We've got people on here who trade alongside their full-time businesses. Calvin, for example, he's a South African. He's only a South African on there. We've got people like Dan or Vig who have left their jobs in order to trade full-time. So these strategies work. We know that they do. So there is only 3 directions in which the market can move. What do you think they are? I'll give you the first one nice and easy. Up. Obviously, markets can move up, but if they move up, what other way can they go down? Whatever goes up must come, I already gave it away, didn't I? Must come down. So yes, the market goes up, the market goes down. The market can also be moving sideways. So we need to have strategies that will allow us to have a tradable opportunity regardless of what direction the market is going in. If you are only trading up, then again, you're really limiting your ability to make money. And if you're only trading up, what happens when there's an economic crisis? What happens if there's a market crash? What happens if we go into a recession, what happens? You then have lost your ability to make money in the markets, which is crazy. And again, this is why I want you to be bi-directional traders. You need to be having that skill set in place that allows you to buy and make money that way, yes, but also sell and make money that way too. It is all about recession proofing. It is all about being able to trade in all of these different market conditions, because that is the skill set you need if you want to generate an income stream that is going to allow you to become financially free. Now, patterns make profit. Again, a quote from a very handsome and intelligent man that I know. Patterns make profit. One of my students, Nora, successfully trading now, also got on her way out of debt. She always tells me she wants to get this printed on a t-shirt or onto a mug. She hasn't done it yet, so I'm going to chase her up on that because it would be quite a good little mug, or a little mouse mat, although I only use a trackpad. But anyway, so what is the first decision that you need to make as a trader? What is the first decision you need to make as a trader? What do you think? Often here people will say things like what market, what direction, and actually the direction one is kind of correct, the market one less so. What the first decision is you need to make is, are you going to press the buy button or are you going to press the sell button? That's what you need to make a decision on. And again, the market is going to be the thing which tells you which direction you should be trading in based upon the strategy, based upon the pattern that you have identified in the market. So let's have a little bit of a practice here. I'm going to start nice and easy with you. So if we start with this nice pattern at the top, what do you think comes next? And the point of pattern recognition is it gives us a really clear idea as to what is going to come next. So with the top one here is buy, sell, buy, sell. What do you think comes next? Of course, the answer is buy. Nice and easy. I'm not trying to catch you out here. I'm keeping it nice and easy. Now the one on the bottom, slightly more complicated, but not much more. What do you think comes next in this pattern? So we've got buy, 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 sell, buy. What do you think comes next? So based upon what we've seen before, we would expect to see another buy option here. That is the way the pattern is going. That is the way the pattern is operating. So what you want to do is you want to buy at the point the market tells you to. That is when you are most likely to make money. I'm assuming you want to make money from your trading. I'm assuming you want to treat it like a business, not just a hobby, because hobbies tend to lose people money, whereas businesses should, if they're operating correctly, make them money. So what causes patterns? What do you think causes patterns? What causes the market to move? Because patterns are just particular types of market movement. So what causes the market to move? What causes that to happen is actually mass group psychology. The market moves up because people are pressing the buy button. So it's buyers and sellers that cause the market to move. So if people think the market is currently at a low value, what button do you think they will press? They're going to press the buy button. And when they press the buy button, the market moves up. And if they then think it's a high price and it's too high a price, then they think it's not got high value, then the market will start to press the sell button and the market will move down. It then may come to the same area it got to right at the start, at which point the market now perceive that this particular stock or share or forex pair is actually good value again and it's a cheap time to buy, so they start buying and they move the market up because they're pressing the buy button. Gets to the same level as it got to before last time it was here, and people now think it's too high a price again, so they start to sell, and we start to see this pattern occur. Now we can draw a couple of lines in here, can't we? And if you remember from when we were looking at chart mastery, what do we call these lines? So when we have at least two tests of a price area, what do we call these lines? So on the bottom, this one is called a what? It is called a support, and the one on the top is called a resistance. Remember, ceilings and floors. Support is the floor, resistance is the ceiling. So if we've got this pattern and we want to place a trade at this point here where the market currently is, what direction do you think the market is going to go in? Do you think it's going to go up, or do you think it's going to go down? And if we look at what's happened previously, then what do you think is more likely to happen? So if you think that the market is more likely to go up at this point, what button would you need to press in order to have a winning trade? You would have to press the buy button. So if you press the buy button to make money at this point here and the market moves up, congratulations, you've just had your first winning trade. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, or in my case, if I have a really big winning trade like I did the other day, I get myself a Chinese takeaway to celebrate. Simple things make me happy. So that is the basis of a pattern, or one pattern. This is just one pattern that we would look at. Now, the strategies that we trade off of the different market movements are these. So If the market is moving up or down, we trade a trend. If the market has been moving up or been moving down for too long and it's looking like it's going to want to change direction, we would trade a reversal strategy. And if the market is moving sideways and we have a consolidation pattern, that is what we would be trading. So that's called a breakout strategy. So we've got those different types of pattern there. Now, why do we trade multiple strategies? I kind of touched on this earlier, but I want to remind you the reason we trade multiple strategies is because we want to make sure that when we are in the market that we have as much opportunity to make profit as possible. So using just one strategy is going to be applied to just one type of market movement, and that is going to always limit your ability to make profit, and we don't want to limit your ability to make profit. So again, as market conditions change, as markets move through their different cycles of going up, moving sideways, going back down and reversing, we want to have the ability to trade in each of those life cycles of the market. So having just one strategy is not enough, which is why as part of the Star Trading mentorship, we teach people how to trade not just one, not just two, but actually 4 minimum strategies, if not 5, and we're constantly looking to create and develop and evolve strategies as well. So that is why we have to have multiple strategies. So if we look at one of these strategies, I just want to look at one of the patterns that we would identify. This is called an uptrend. So people press the buy button and the market moves in what direction? It moves up. So the market moves up, and then people press the sell button and it moves down, but it doesn't move down as far as it moved before. Market moves up, it moves higher than it moved before, and then it moves down, but not as low as before. And this pattern continues. Then with this pattern, we can identify what is called a trend. So with a trend, we can draw what's called a trend line, which is a form of support and resistance. So it's a dead straight line, but this is at an angle joining up those lower test levels in a trending pattern. Now, what you need to confirm a trend is 2 consecutive higher highs and 2 consecutive higher lows. So a higher high is these peaks that you can see, each one being slightly higher than the previous peak. That is a higher high. And the ones on the bottom, the lower peaks, the down peaks, they also are consecutively higher. And we need to have those consecutive higher highs and higher lows in order to confirm what is called an uptrend. So this is what it may look like in the market. It's rarely as clean as I can draw, but that is an example of an upward trend. Now, if we're going to look at this in the down trend version, it's literally the same but reversed, and this is a pattern that we would trade short. So remember, bi-directional trading. So market moves down and then it moves up, but it doesn't move as high as it moved before, moves lower than it moved before, moves back up but not as high, lower than before, up but not as high, lower than before. And again, we can draw in here a trend line, but this one is a downward trend line. So notice the difference between the uptrend line and the downtrend line position. The uptrend line is underneath, the downtrend line is above. So we say bottoms up, tops down. So you're joining up the bottoms when the trend is moving up, you're joining up the tops when the trend is moving down. So again, we need to have at least 2 consecutive higher highs and 2 consecutive higher lows on this pattern in order to maintain the fact and confirm the fact that this is a downward trending market. So 2 lower lows and 2 lower highs for a downtrend, and 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows for an uptrend. And the consecutive bit is really, really important. Often that bit of detail is missed by people when they first start out with their trading, which again is why it's so important for us to give you feedback in your trading and along your journey to make sure you're applying this knowledge correctly. And this is what it may look like in an actual market condition. So you can see there the lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low and lower high. So this is a consolidation pattern. We have touched upon it briefly already. So we've got 2 tests of the upper level, 2 tests of the bottom level. This is when the market is moving sideways. Again, we need to have those clear tests of the upper price area and the lower price area for us to confirm this as a consolidation. So this is what it may look like in the actual market. You can see that consolidation pattern along the side just there. But what do you notice about this particular screenshot of a market? Do you notice anything particular about it? Do you notice maybe where it's come from? Do you notice maybe what's happened here? What can you see? So those of you who are eagle-eyed, beady-eyed, and you've managed to spot this, what's actually happened is this market has been trending down. So we've got a fairly clear trend down, but then it broke the trend, and instead of making a lower low, it made an equal low, and that's when it started to move sideways and consolidate. So again, this would mean we would adapt our strategy. We would change the strategy that we're going to apply to this particular market in order to make money. And being able to spot that is what's going to allow you to become a successful trader. Now, you may not learn to spot that in week 1, week 2, week 3, but as you practice this skill set, as you practice the star trading methodology, as you master the strategies that we teach you on the mentorship, then you're going to be able to see these and spot these opportunities like second nature. And that's why you can then trade for less than 30 minutes a day when you've mastered these patterns, because it becomes really clear, really simple for you to identify what it is that you're looking for. Now, the process our mentees go on with strategy mastery. It's really, really important for me that you understand that your brain can only take on so much information, which is why we've broken down this course over the different days rather than just overload you with all of the information in one go. I want you to be able to absorb, learn, apply, and then take on the next bit of information. Which is why when we do training days, we spend about 3 hours together showing you how to apply these skill sets, showing you how to test them. And if you want to come to one of those, then drop me a message. I don't know what the next date is for those, but make sure you drop me a message, and I'd love to invite you along to one of those sessions where we get really hands-on, really practical, and we show you how to apply this into the market. You bring your laptop, you bring a notebook, and we get you set up with trading software and all of that stuff, and we show you how to apply this into the live market. So if you want to know more about that, then please do drop me a message. But if you were one of our mentees and you were coming through the training process, you make sure that you master one strategy first. I know that may sound strange to some of you, but again, we don't want to overload your brain. We want to make sure that you really understand that strategy. And the process you go on when you master the first strategy is going to make mastering the second, third, and fourth strategy so much easier. So what we do is we master one strategy, we test that strategy in order to master it, and then we trade it live. When we're trading it live and we've got confidence and competency behind that live trading of one strategy, we then go and start testing the second strategy. When we've tested it and we've built up our confidence and our competency with that strategy, the second one, we then trade that one live. Now we've got two that we're trading live, and we've got bandwidth, brain space to pick up the third strategy, trade it, test it, get it live, mastered. Fourth strategy, tested, traded, mastered, and then we move on from there. And then it's about optimization. So that is the process, the cascading effect. And each time you master a strategy, it's so much quicker to pick up the next one. So people sometimes feel like they're going a bit slow in the early days, but very quickly they master all of our strategies in a fairly short time period to get them trading live. Now, we've been teaching people and training people all around the world for years and years and years now, and we know that this process is the best process to go on if you want to become a safe and profitable trader in the quickest time possible. It doesn't happen overnight, but we have sped up the process, although there is no shortcuts. So I've got a task for you. This is your action taker task for today's session. And so what I want you to do this time is, again, find a chart, and I want you to take a screenshot of it when you have found a trending market. Try to do one uptrend and one downtrend, and then post it into the Facebook group, and I will let you know if you've drawn a good trend. Again, we've only got so much time in a day, but I do want to give you feedback, so we're only going to respond once to you on it, but make sure you use that opportunity to test your learning and to test your understanding. And the reason I want you to practice both long and short is because we are pre-programmed by society to only trade long. We understand the buy low and the sell high. We understand that. It's harder for us to maybe grasp the concept of selling first and buying later. And that process of shorting is really confusing for people's brains. It was definitely confusing for my brain as well. I didn't understand it. How can you sell something you don't own? And what I want you to just settle on for now is when you're in the broker and you're actually trading, the only thing you need to do to make that happen is press the sell button first and then buy the sell button second. In the same way, when you're going long, you press the buy button and then you press the sell button next. So that is all I want you to worry about right now. I can do a further training on shorting specifically and what that looks like, and there's some of that resource in the Facebook group as well, so make sure you check that out. Now, this was a really early mindset blockage for me, is between that short and that long trade, because I just didn't get it, I just didn't understand it. And this was for me where I realized the power of mentorship, because I took a load of my trades that I'd done, I was live trading, and I took my results, which were profitable, I'd done quite well, and I took them to my mentor and I showed them to my mentor, and my mentor turned to me and said, "Lewis, you've taken 0 short trades. And I was like, oh, but there wasn't any. He was like, I want you to go back and test that same time period, but specifically look for short trade opportunities. So I did that. I went through the markets for the same time period that I had those results. And if I had have actually identified correctly when live trading, the short opportunities that I'd said there was none of, because my brain was so conditioned to only see the long trades, then I would have actually doubled my results. I would have doubled the amount of profit that I had by trading short as well as by trading long, which is why I really want you to master bi-directional trading and both of those different ways of trading, both long and short. And technically the only difference is you press the sell button first to go short, or you press the buy button first to go long. So that was one of my initial mindset blocks. I had a few and I managed to get through them, and that is the power of mentorship. So your action taking task, again, if you've forgotten, is I want you to find a chart, identify a trending market, one long and one short, draw on where you see that trend, and then I want you to take a screenshot and I want you to post it into the Facebook group for feedback from either myself or our head mentor Josh Jones or one of the star trading coaches. We will be giving you feedback in the main Facebook group. So make sure that you do that, use us, and get yourself some feedback and some mentorship while you've got access to us. So next steps, make sure that you have time set aside tomorrow to actually watch the training that's going to come through to you. I want you to set up a demo account with a broker if you haven't done that already. And I want you to actually today after this session, maybe take 5 minutes, maybe take 10 minutes. And I want you to dream about what your life could be if you decided to truly master this skill set. How is trading going to change your life? How is it going to improve your life? Is it going to help you get to where you want to get to and live the lifestyle that you want? What is that lifestyle? The simple answer is trading can get there if you're willing to start, if you're willing to commit, and if you're willing to learn this skill set and receive feedback. So there you have it. That is the end of today's session. You've got your action taker task. You've got your next steps. I look forward to seeing you in the next session. I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.